Ever heard of a military operation so secret, so audacious, that it completely redrew the lines of a conflict without a single shot being fired in the mainstream news? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a story that has remained in the shadows for far too long. This is the story of Operation Sindoor, the covert masterpiece that left Pakistan's strategic planners completely stunned and reshaped the geopolitical landscape of South Asia in ways we are only now beginning to understand. It's early 2025. Tensions are simmering along the line of control. Intelligence reports pour in, painting a grim picture of escalating infiltration attempts and a buildup of forces across the border. Another conventional conflict seems almost inevitable. But Indian strategists knew that a traditional war would come at a tremendous cost. They needed a different approach, a move so unexpected it would neutralize the threat before it could even materialize. They needed a checkmate. And so, the seeds of Operation Sindoor were sown in the highest echelons of India's security establishment. The name itself, Sindoor, is deeply symbolic. In Indian culture, Sindoor represents a sacred, unbreakable bond. In this context, it signified India's inviolable commitment to its territorial integrity. The operation's objective wasn't to conquer land, but to secure it so decisively that any thought of aggression would be rendered futile. It was a strategy based not on brute force, but on psychological dominance and strategic encirclement. It was about winning the war before the first battle. The plan was a marvel of modern warfare, blending cutting-edge technology with classic deception. While Pakistan's intelligence was focused on troop movements in familiar sectors, India initiated a silent, high-tech surge. Special forces teams, equipped with next-generation surveillance drones and advanced cyber warfare units, began to operate deep behind enemy lines. Their mission was not to engage, but to observe, map, and disrupt. They created a digital fortress, a complete electronic map of every enemy position, supply line, and communication hub. Simultaneously, a brilliant campaign of misinformation was launched. Coded messages, deliberately designed to be intercepted, were broadcast. These messages pointed to a massive conventional military drill planned in a completely different region, hundreds of miles away. Decoy convoys moved at night, creating the illusion of a major force repositioning. Pakistan's military command took the bait, diverting crucial assets and attention away from the real area of operations. They were looking left while the real action was happening on their right. This is where the operation truly became a game-changer. The core of Operation Sindoor was the swift, silent deployment of newly developed, highly mobile, high-altitude artillery systems. Under the cover of electronically induced ghost storms, a cyber warfare tactic that blinded enemy radar and satellite imagery with false weather patterns, these units were moved into previously inaccessible mountain passes. These weren't just any positions. They were strategic heights that overlooked and dominated key Pakistani supply routes and forward posts. Imagine the shock in Pakistan's military headquarters. One morning, their commanders woke up to find that their most critical strategic arteries were now under the direct, undeniable watch of Indian artillery. Every road, every depot, every bunker was now a potential target. They had been outmaneuvered without a single skirmish. The Indian forces hadn't crossed the line of control in a traditional sense. They had simply established an unbreakable strategic dominance over it. It was like a chess player moving their queen into a position that makes the opponent's king impossible to defend. The diplomatic phase that followed was just as masterful. With Pakistan's military options severely crippled, Indian diplomats presented a clear and simple message to the international community. We have not initiated a conflict. We have simply secured our territory to prevent one. They presented irrefutable satellite and electronic evidence of the planned infiltrations and the aggressive posturing. The narrative was undeniable. India was not the aggressor. It was the preemptive peacekeeper. The global powers, seeing the strategic checkmate, urged for de-escalation, but on India's terms. The aftermath was profound. Operation Sindoor forced a complete strategic rethink within the Pakistani establishment. The old playbook of asymmetric warfare was now obsolete. The psychological blow was immense. They had been outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and neutralized without a major battle. This operation demonstrated that the future of warfare wasn't just about troop numbers, but about information superiority, technological advantage, and the audacity to execute a plan that exists in the realm of genius. Operation Sindoor will be studied in military academies for decades to come. It's a testament to the idea that true victory isn't always loud and explosive. Sometimes it's silent, precise, and achieved in the shadows. It proved that the most powerful weapon in a nation's arsenal can be its strategic intellect. The game had changed, and India had just announced the new rules. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into a piece of modern history. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button. And subscribe to our channel for more untold stories that shape our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.